I'd like to think this backpack has been to Ecuador and Guatemala and all kinds of places, but it has been to all kinds of places. I'm just not sure if it's been there. But it has spent 4 years traveling back and forth to the university, and we've patched it and repaired it, and now it's time for more repair because, good backpacks, they kind of become like favorite stuffed animals, don't they? Fortunately, we still have more patching fabric, which was her favorite. And right now, I'm in the process of turning this inside out and taking the binding off of the main compartment so that I can figure out how to patch it, because I don't know what I'm doing yet. But I told you the other day that clarity comes from action, or action creates focus. So that's what I'm doing. I'm taking action. And what did I do with my seam ripper? There it is. So let me turn this down a little bit. Maybe you can see what I'm doing. So I'm carefully taking this binding off, and oh wow, I guess that's the section I'd already worked on. I didn't expect it to pull off that easily. This binding has started to fray from the other repair, but in my sewing stash I have some hem tape, bias tape, and so when I put this all back together, I'm going to put it over the top of this original one, and then it'll be doubly reinforced. I have actually repaired, well, that's weird every time I put my hand up there. I've actually repaired backpacks. This one is Tiffany's, and she loves it. She got it right when she was ready to go to college, and she graduated the other day, so it has served her well for 4 years. And I repaired Daniel's backpack several times. I don't remember if I've repaired any for Jonathan, but hey, they turn into just a good old comfortable companion, don't they? So I was thinking about that, how this backpack definitely does not look new anymore. And when I was in college, I probably would have thought, based on the culture of the day, that my fabric had to match perfectly. And I probably would have thought my backpack shouldn't have any patches. So I do think it's very, very interesting that it's okay to repair backpacks now. It's always been okay to repair backpacks. But there's times that I've noticed that certain things are more acceptable at other times, from one time to the other. Definitely things that are acceptable now weren't when I was in college. And this backpack still has a lot of use in it. when I'm all done with it, it will serve just as well as it did when it was brand new. Right now it doesn't. It's got some holes that pens or pencils or smaller objects could slide through the bottom. But once it's repaired, it'll be good as new. And you know what? I was kind of... There's an analogy for everything, isn't there? I was kind of comparing it to myself, I guess, in relation to the fact that I had a birthday the other day. And I love having birthdays. I'm always so happy to have another one. It's the side effect of growing older, is the side effect of having birthdays, isn't it? And I've got these wrinkles and this gray hair, and I think, where did this come from? I don't look like I'm 29 anymore. And you know what? This backpack doesn't look like it did when it came from the manufacturer 4 years ago. 4 years ago. But when I'm finished with it, it's going to be just as functional. And so I thought about the things within myself, and maybe there's things within yourself that you know of that you would like to improve. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your emotions. Maybe it's learning something new. I love to learn new things. I love to learn. I never want to quit learning. I will never quit learning. I love trying new things. I love being curious. But you know what? I'm not 29 anymore. I don't look 29. And that's perfectly okay. But I'm going to work on myself, on my health, on my emotions, on my spiritual well-being, on my physical well-being, on my relationships. And where they need improvement, I'm going to do the work that it takes. Now, let me just show you what's involved. Sorry, I keep putting my hand over that. Let me just show you what's involved. See this? This binding was all along the edge of the inside seam of this backpack. This seam right here. And this is the first step in getting this backpack apart. And you know what? It's not easy. It takes work. And that's the same thing with us. Sometimes we need repairs in our lives that aren't easy. They're going to take some work and some poking and some pulling and making some changes. So I have this off the span of the bottom seam. Let me turn this back this way. Okay, so here's that same seam, and see, it's at the back of the backpack where it rests on the floor and gets a lot of wear. So you can tell I do need to take it out from here all the way over to right in here. But I was looking at all of this fraying, trying to figure out, well, what am I going to do about that? And of course, this that I put in a couple years ago is all gone. So I think what I'm going to do, it has this wear right here. Let me put my hand. So when I put my hand down in this pocket, and this right here is frayed. Really, those are the main places that it's worn through, other than this, where the strap attaches in. So what I'm going to do is open this seam now that I have the binding off, and then I'm going to use a double thickness of this so it's good and sturdy, and I'm going to make part of a new bottom across here. I'll just attach it across here. So let me see. I think I have other videos where I've repaired backpacks. I need to go back and look for those, because they don't always need the same kind of repair. In order to get this seam to open up, I think I'm going to need to do it from this side, because I can't really tell which stitches to start with. And sometimes you can kind of pull it open like this and see the stitches down in there. Have you ever seen anybody do this with a razor blade? I have, but I'm always afraid that I would cut the fabric. So once you get a little hole made, see this seam ripper that has the ball? So you can stick the ball in there, and by sticking the ball in, it is supposed to prevent you from ripping the fabric. I have not been real successful with that, and maybe I need to keep practicing at it, but I typically stick the point in. But this is like a little knife. It's meant to cut the thread, so you do have to be careful, because if you gouge this little point sideways in the fabric and then push it forward, it will rip a hole in your fabric. Some seams are easier to get open than others, and I have found many times it can take longer to get something open, all the seams opened up, than the actual repair, especially when I'm working on wedding dresses and things like that, and taking off lace and beads. Oh my goodness, that can take hours. Hours. But you just do the work, don't you? Just like I was saying earlier with our physical bodies, we just do the work. We do what it takes to become a better version of ourselves, a better version, because we can always grow and improve. We never ever have to stay like we are. Did you know that with the way your cells divide and turn over, in 9 months, you are a completely new person? All of the cells, the trillions of cells in your entire body, have completely replicated, died off and replicated themselves. Did you know that? That is absolutely fascinating to me. Now I have the backpack as taken apart as I'm going to. I've opened up one side of the bottom and the sides. This is the lining of the backpack, so I'm having to make sure that I keep that out of the way. Fortunately, this part of the lining does not have any holes in it, so I'm not needing to repair the lining. I just realized I still need to take this seam open, but I've opened it all the way up to where the straps insert into the seam, and the straps were holding really well in the seam, but they were starting to fray. So I'm going to put a patch on that and reinsert it into the seam, and then I'm going to probably leave that but cover it over it, and about this much of it will be new of the patch fabric. So it's going to be a patchwork backpack, a mended patchwork backpack. Now there is a weak spot right here in the top, probably where books and notebooks have rubbed. So I'm going to put a patch over the top of that. And I saw, oh, I may run a narrow band along this edge that covers the zipper because it's starting to fray. Theoretically, the zipper needs to be replaced in this. It does still zip, but see how it has come apart right there? So hopefully she can get through the summer, and if she wants the zipper repaired, then I need to order a zipper and fix that later. But so far the zipper zips and holds. So once I get all this done, this will be good as new, and it'll just look really, there's a little hole I need to repair. It wouldn't have to be, but if it got much bigger, an ink pen could come through that.